In this Illustrator video, we'll be taking a look at how to save your file as a PDF file, as well as how to export it as a JPEG. So usually when we're working, we save things just as a standard Illustrator file by going up to the File menu and coming down to our Save As. And we can see that from here, we've got this little drop down here, and usually it's just on the default .ai file format. But I've also got the option to save this out as an Adobe PDF file format as well. So if I select that option there, one thing you'll notice when you select the Adobe PDF option is that you've also got this range. So basically, if you've created multiple artboards within your document and you click on the range area, you can decide which artboards it is that you want to save as a PDF. So maybe with a 5 artboard document, you may choose to only export number 2 and number 4, say, and you could do it that way, or you could do it from 1 through to 3. So there's a number of ways that you can export those different artboards as your PDF. But I'm just going to export all of my artboards in the one PDF document, so I'll just click on all from there and then just hit that save button. When it opens up the Save As dialog box for your PDF, then I can click on the top here. Starting at the very top, I've got different types of PDFs that I can save as. So generally, if you're going to send something to print, you would use either the high quality print or the press quality option. When we choose either of those, any effects like our drop shadows and bitmap based images would be exported at a 300 pixels per inch image, and so that's a nice high resolution. If you're just emailing things around though, then what you want to do is save it as the smallest file size. That's great for just screen presentations and emailing. It compresses everything down, makes it a smaller file size, easier to upload and download. When we are working on print-based documents, however, and we're working maybe with posters and that kind of thing, you may be extending color out to the very edge of your page. So we would need to go back to that high quality print and take a look at the marks and the bleeds area. So within this marks and bleeds section, as part of your menu on the left-hand side there, generally when you're sending things out that have a color all the way from edge to edge in the background, for example, you would choose to add maybe a 3 or a 5mm bleed running around all sides, top, bottom, left and right, around the outside of the document. Generally, when you do that as well, it's a good idea to just include trim marks so the printer knows where to guillotine the jobs from the corners. Now, I'm not going to do that with this particular document because it's just got content sitting in the middle of my artboard, and I'll just leave it as a smallest file size rather than high resolution. All right, so now that I've done that, I normally make sure as well that I've got View PDF After Saving turned on, just so that it automatically opens the PDF up and I can just preview it before sending it off. So coming down here, clicking on the Save PDF button, it'll give me a little warning about saving things as a low resolution, and I'll just click OK on that, and it'll just take a moment to generate that, and there you go, it's opened that up in my PDF previewer, Acrobat Pro DC. So that's my first artboard. If I click on the arrow up here, I can drop down to the second artboard. Okay, so I'll just close that PDF down and I'll click back into Illustrator, and we'll try exporting now as a JPEG. So to export as a JPEG, under the File menu again, I can come down to my Export, and then I've got the option to either export as or save for web. If I export as, I'll just click into that window, and we can see here once again, down the bottom where I've got my different formats, we can export in different ways, different formats. If I go straight down to the JPEG option from there, and we've also got this option again to use artboards if we want to, and we can select a range of artboards from there, but I'll just do both of them, and I'll come across and hit that export button, just making sure I'm saving that into, and then it opens up my JPEG Options dialog box. So if I'm just doing it for screen presentations or viewing on screen, I would just save it as an RGB file, which is generally what you do with JPEGs. And the quality here as well, if you're worried about file size, you could drag that down, but I'll keep it up as a high quality JPEG. And you can see down here as well, you can really bump up the resolution, but I'll just keep it at 72 pixels per inch, which is fine for screen purposes. And I'll click OK on that, and it'll just take a moment to generate that. I'll jump across now to see where that has saved. Okay, so here we are in the folder that I saved these to, and we can see here that we've got the first JPEG and then the second JPEG. So they're now separate JPEG files. It just exported both those artboards as separate JPEG files. And I'll click back into my document. So that's a bit of a rundown on how we can save our document not just as a .ai file format, but we can export as a PDF and also as a JPEG. So that wraps up our Illustrator recap series for fundamentals. I look forward to seeing you soon for more Adobe Illustrator training.